Madars himself nearly became the first Latvian ever to win a PDC ranking title this year, beaten in the final in Ireland again just before the Grand Prix. Bump of the fists, away we go. I'm Dan Dawson, Paul Nicholson, a former Players' Champion alongside me. Potentially 9 games on the second stage here at Reds Bar this afternoon. It starts with the Bullet and Razmataz.
Good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon, Dan. Not the start that Razmataz was looking for. Sometimes you just need to find your way into a game, and the format is exactly the same today as it was yesterday, for this afternoon anyway. So best of 11, a format that all of these guys are very familiar with, because leading into this tournament, everything is best of 11 legs, no set format. So it's just another day at the office, but the stakes have been raised.
Yeah, they certainly have. The players you see in action today guaranteed £5,000 in their pockets for reaching the second round, but if they win this afternoon, they're up to 8 grand winnings, and if they win tonight as well and get into the final day, minimum £12,500 ranking money.
Yeah, that's a lot of sponduli, but some of these guys these days are consistent on the tour, and they're used to getting those kind of paychecks. Maybe Stephen more so than Madman.
Well, this is the thing. We've seen over the increase in prize money, and for example, they've just announced this week that Betfred will be sponsoring the World Match Play. That's £150,000 to the winner of that. Obviously, there's £500,000 to the winner of the World Championship this year. But more important than perhaps, you know, lining the pockets of Gary Anderson, Michael Van Gogh, and the guys who are picking up the big titles on a most regular basis, is these guys who are further down the rankings, even outside the top 32, as Bunting looks at treble 10, is it? No?
41. Sorry, 39.
There we go. I'm making counting mistakes. Russ has joined me. It's contagious. But he's left himself 47, and he'll come back looking at either 7 or 15. Just come back to this point on the prize money. See if Bunting can get this first leg in the bag. It would be a break of throat.
15. Here's a double 16 guy. And that's why. Right in the bottom corner. 1-0 Bunting. Great start. And by virtue of that poor start to that leg, Razma has been punished.
Now, Paul, you're a man who had to go back to Q School, get your card, and work your way up. Now, you top 64 player. How big has the increase in prize money for players, you know, extra money making the second round, third round, no entry fees this year? How big a difference has that made to players currently in your position, fighting their way up, looking to get high up the rankings, or players who are genuinely trying to treat darts as a job and not work the day job as well?
It's been huge, because I'm one of those almost veteran type players that are creeping up the age of 40 who can still remember when, in order to win a decent amount of money in a tournament day, you had to win quite a few matches. So now when you go to a Players' Championship event, one of the events that gets you into this event, you have to win one game and it's 500 quid. Then it's 1,000. These sort of increases are life-changing for people. They're allowing them to make a decision of playing darts full-time. And the entry fees have not only had an effect on people's contracts with sponsors and management, but the guys who look after themselves have got a lot more money in their pocket because of that. It's been a revolutionary year for the PDC to make those steps, and you can only see it getting bigger over the course of the next few seasons, and I hope it does.
Well, look, it is still not perfect. There are still situations that, Madars Razma, for example, his costs are a lot higher than Stephen Bunting for playing the tour in general.
Yeah, getting from Latvia to Wigan is quite the journey. Getting from St Helens to Wigan is quite easy. The boys who live in St Helens have got a definite advantage for events in Wigan, that's for sure. And the Yorkshire boys for Barnsley.
For those of you who live in Sussex, such as Paul, absolutely gutted Milton Keynes is off the agenda this year. Bunting only gets 1 dart for the leg. That's all he needs. 2-0 to the Bullet.
Yeah, bring back Crawley. That's what I say. I don't care what Ronnie O'Sullivan says. I love a bit of Crawley.
Well, we saw John Michael the record-breaking, history-making 16-time national champion of Greece, win one of the BDO tournaments just the other weekend. Now, he's a guy who, he's got the talent where he could be in the top 64 in the PDC. I have little doubt about that. He's a very good player. Seen him at the World Championship, seen him at all kinds of tournaments, John Michael. But it was costing him so much money to come over from Greece, something like €1,700 every weekend with his flights and hotels and everything like that, that he just couldn't do it. He won his tour card. He was good enough to get a tour card. He couldn't do it for a year. He managed to get a sponsor to do it for his second year to help out with those costs, but it wasn't enough for him to keep his tour card. And that is something that is an issue. But as Bunting fires in the first maximum, we do have a Players' Championship weekend in Hildesheim this year, so something on mainland Europe, a bit easier for some of the players, the Dutch lads particularly.
Do you get the feeling that the emphasis on locations of events will change in the next few seasons? We've seen it with the World Series, and Bunting is absolutely taking Razma to school here. But Players' Championships and European Tour events in Europe I see, and less events potentially in Barnsley and Wigan, and more around Europe, I'd say. But right now, Bunting has 60. Tops again for 3-0. Double 19. Hey, he's going all showmanship on us. He's doing a bit of razzmatazz to Razma.
That's a double breaker throw, and Stephen Bunting's average has climbed up towards the 100 mark. Madars Razma is not even breaking 80. Now, Razma yesterday against Mickey Mansell was very, very good, having lost the first couple of legs. Ended up winning 6-4 and was pretty impressive, average around about 90. Bunting even more so in a belter of a game against Richard North.
Yeah, the mojo is not there with Razma today. He looks a bit forlorn and looks like someone's nicked his headphones.
That's kind of, it's kind of what we expect though with Madars, isn't it? Because it's streaky. He's had a couple of fantastic days over the last couple of years. Made a semi-final, made a final on the Players' Championship Series. That's what's got him here.
96.
Well, one thing you've got to get used to when you're playing big level darts over the course of many seasons is you've got to get used to the highs and the lows. Adrenaline management. So when you're high, you've got to bring yourself down a peg. When you're low, you've got to bring yourself up a peg and meet in the middle sometimes. He was high as a kite last night after winning against Mickey Mansell. Would have been really, really pleased. And then he's got to get himself back on the horse. And this is something that Stephen has done for many, many, many years. Since he was the age of 14 playing county darts for Merseyside. And he will have learned that from great players in that area. And he's the talisman for Merseyside darts for me now.
Well, it's a hotbed of darts up that particular part of the world. St Helens, Merseyside, Chisnell, Michael Smith, Stephen Bunting. Alan Tabern still knocking around, winning games of darts. He's had a few battles with MVG on the Euro Tour this year as Tabby. It didn't work out for him yesterday.
He was telling me yesterday, Tabern, that there is an actual Alan Tabern trophy where people in a local club play left-handed and whoever wins it wins the Alan Tabern trophy.
Fantastic.
Look what Bunting has left again, 60. Is he going to go 20 for double 1, double 19 again? I'm guessing not.
I wouldn't have thought so.
He's going to go another route. Even he's going to laugh.
Okay, 60, 20 tops, took it out. 60, double 1, double 19, took it out.
Please
60,
go 2 double 5s.
double top.
2 10s.
Oh, it would have been 60 taken out 3 separate ways in consecutive legs.
18 and bull for Madman. Didn't risk the treble. Hasn't got anywhere near that bullseye, unfortunately for him. But now Bunting just needs 1 double 5. Take care of the leg. And he's going 2 double 4. Thinking clearly and taking care of the job, that's for sure. 4-0 to Bunting, and this is very, very good for a Stephen Bunting fan.
Yeah, it's not been entirely convincing, as those efforts at 60 show. It's sort of been good, but it's not been his top level stuff. The thing is, Razma is so off the pace compared to yesterday. The only dart he's had at double is that one at the bullseye at the end of an 88 combination. He has not had any other opportunities. And Latvia's number one, who did come into this in some good form, remember. He won a couple of events on the Nordic and Baltic series, and we've spoken at length about how great the players on the Nordic and Baltic, the Scandinavian countries, are. Very, very healthy system they've got there. And that kind of feeds into the point we're making about the UK doesn't own the game of darts, and it is spreading, and we're seeing more events in mainland Europe to accommodate the growth of the game there. But we're also seeing their own series, the Nordic and Baltic League set up, the Asian League set up, essentially. Obviously, the Australian one's been going for a long, long time.
Yeah, the DPA circuit was almost the flag bearer for leagues outside of the PDC itself, and players came through that. And if it wasn't for the DPA, then we wouldn't have seen the likes of Whitlock, Cadby, Brian Roach,
Kyle Anderson,
Steve MacArthur. I could go on and on and on. Kyle Anderson's a great example. What an answer from Bunting after the 171 of Razma. Double 12 to get on the board. He's got to hit this.
Oh dear.
Oh no. Bunting can punish. That maximum has put him in a great position. Treble 10. Single 20 or single 12 for tops. Oh, he's low.
Well, the three darts at double 12 look like the darts of a man who'd forgotten where the outer ring was, because it's the first time he'd thrown at it in this match. Just reacquainting himself. Or is he? He is. Gets on the board. There will be no whitewash in this opening game.
Bunting will be aware of how well Razma played yesterday. He won't be taking him for granted, that's for sure. And Bunting knows a lot about Madars, because in his Lakeside days, Madars himself was playing at Lakeside, so they will have crossed paths. But when he sees Madars playing the way he has done in this match so far, as a player, you're thinking to yourself, oh, this is great. This is kind of what you want, really, on a day where you could potentially play twice.
A nice, gentle start to the day. Somebody's not going to really push it. The problem is, Madars showed this against Mickey Mansell. He grew into the game and got better and better. Now he's given himself an awful lot of work to do, 4-0 down. But he got his first dart at double in the fourth leg. He got a whole load of darts at double in the fifth leg. And his level has picked up marginally.
Got to be careful though, Stephen, because even though he's got an opponent who's not firing on all cylinders, you've got to maintain focus and your own level. And yesterday, Stephen, when he needed to find something right at the end of the game, in what was a classic game with Northey, when he hit the first treble 20, he went, come on. And then he hit the second one, he went, come on. And he hit all three. There was just real passion there. You get the feeling that's a little bit of mental training that he's been doing, that when he needs to put the foot on the gas, he just puts his foot to the floor.
Well, it looked, when he hit back-to-back 180s in the third leg of this one. 130 for Madars, gets him to a makeable finish. Yeah, it looked at that back-to-back 180 leg, the third leg, where he managed to get another breaker throw, put him in a position which Madars would struggle to come back from. And he may yet struggle to mount a serious challenge, but this would be a significant step. Great dart.
Top 16. That's in, and that's an important dart because Bunting did something very clever with his final visit in that leg. He had a 25 to leave 130, which is a lot easier to hit than 135. So that double eight is crucial. It's got him back in this match, and if he can hold here, he'll be within one. Still has to break, Stephen, admittedly, but like you mentioned, Dan, he's growing into the game. He's tall enough, but right now, he's definitely grown in stature in this match.
Bunting has won both their previous visits, one in Barnsley earlier this year and then that one in Ireland last year where he ended Madars' best run on the PDC circuit at the time. It was exactly the same weekend this year that Madars went one step further into the final of a Players' Championship event, beaten by Max Hopp. If he could produce the turnaround, he could face Max Hopp in the next round, although Hopper's got to overcome the world number 2 Peter Snakebite Wright. It's on the main stage, set to be the 7th game on the main stage this afternoon.
I wouldn't say that's a gimme for Peter Wright at all.
Absolutely not.
I think that is a very even match right now. And Bunting has put a big hole in that, 320, to get himself back in the leg. But Madars is definitely playing better right now. Needs a treble, and that is a miss. That invites Bunting to try and take this shot. Took it a 164 yesterday on the bull, and it was brilliant. He might take this out. That one's just next door. But he's left himself double 10. And Madars needs the ABC shot to get himself within 1.
19s to start. Treble 18 and bull. It is on. It is not far off. Is that narrow miss going to prove to be the end of the Razma fight back?
Surely. Oh, he's got it with a third dart as well. And that'll sting Razma. If he misses the second dart, he's hoping one more miss, and then I'm coming back to get within 1. But now the gap is 3, and Bunting's 1 away. He's chuntering to himself, Stephen. Just trying to give himself the solitary pep talk. It's a lonely game up there, Dan. I will say that. Nobody can help you. No caddies in darts, that's for sure.
That's an interesting point you make. Look, we have seen managers and coaches or whatever in the crowd, even family members in the crowd, encouraging somebody on stage. And sometimes, you know, for example, Keith Deller will be at the side of the stage when Adrian's playing and telling him, speed up, slow down, do this, do that. Have you ever found that to be a help when you've been on stage, or is it just something that gets in the way?
Hindrance. 100% hindrance. Coming from the person who hasn't even let his own mother come and watch him at the darts, because certain people who just talk to me too much, I just tell them to go away and leave me alone. You never heard the phrase that assets always work alone?
Well, there you go.
But for me, it was always about just being focused and getting on with the job. It's about doing the job. It's not about making other people happy. It's about doing what I want to do. And it's one thing that my management have always been very good at, leaving me alone. And if I ever need anything, they will facilitate. But
some players do seem like that. You know, they will say they'll be delighted that their friends, family are there if they've gone and won. But a lot of the time, they're there to work. And they don't want the friends and family around them so much because they're there to do a job and focus on that rather than be slightly distracted by the people that they love and respect or whatever being there and feeling that it's almost an added pressure for them.
Yeah, absolutely right. The pressure's on Razma right now, because if he doesn't get a move on, Bunting is going to be in the next round. And we'll see him this evening as the plot thickens. 262 for Bunting. I'll actually really like from 262 going to the 19s, because if you get a 95 with 5 19s, it leaves you a finish on 167, but ultimately he's left himself on 164. Can he finish the match with a shot that he's already hit this week?
He took it out yesterday against Richard North. He is not going to take it out here. He's just slid into the treble 3, and Razma's left the 60 that we've already seen taken out in 2 different ways. Very nearly 3, all by Bunting. Conventional route for Madars. And he is still alive in this game.
Just wondering, Dan, why was Stephen Bunting looking at his right hand as he was retrieving on the last throw? Just looking at his mentality and his demeanour, maybe he's just nicked it with a point. That does happen sometimes. Sometimes you get a bit of claret on the board and you scrape your finger against one of the wires or one of your own darts. I'm sure he's okay. But he's not as sharp in his scoring as he was at the start of the match.
Yeah, the average has dropped, but its height, it was up at 99, Stephen Bunting. It's now only sort of mid to high 80s, and only a couple of points more than Madars Razma. Now, the first 3.5 legs of this game, there was a gulf between them.
57.
And Madars is paid the price for a slow start here. It might be a fatal mistake, that. Bunting is still a heavy favourite to win this game, but it's not done just yet.
Yeah, when Price was a heavy favourite at 5-1 up last night against Krzysztof Ratajski. And, of course, Razma's from Eastern Europe himself. Can he mount a Ratajski-esque fight back?
Well, needs to fill it up just to get back on level terms here, Stephen Bunting. It's a good start.
Got to ask you, Dan, how much are you looking forward to Adrian Lewis versus Ratajski later?
Absolutely spectacular game of darts. I think there's so many great ones set for board 2 this afternoon. Jeffrey Desvaux and Ricky Evans looks a belter. I think James Wilson, Gabriel Clemens could have double digits in the number of 180s if they both get going. Ian White's the number 1 seed and averaged 111.3 yesterday. Get on stage 2, Diamond. Get in that treble. Bunting, 180 to leave 61. Another spectacularly timed maximum. But will it matter?
Match-saving shot needed. Does he know where he wants to go? It's double 16. It's not in, and I'm wondering whether he was thinking 7 tops because tops was friendly to him last time round. That could be all she wrote.
8 scored, 53 left, 13 for double top. And the bullet is high. 1 match dart missed.
And that clipped a little bit of metal as well as a bit of sisal. That was very close. Double 8. That's in. Only just. He's in 1. Within 1. And now Bunting. Get the feeling. If he doesn't get this leg, it's going to get a bit squeaky. It's going to be very similar to what happened yesterday with Richard North.
Well, against Richard North, it looked as if Bunting might have been overturned, and right at the death, he found a couple of big visits back-to-back that turned the match in his favour, and he nicked it 6-5. He might have to do the same here. Is it 4-1, 5 180s in this game, Stephen Bunting? Could need another 1, maybe 2.
Madars is thinking a little bit more now. He's taking his time. He's a rhythmic player. Just gets on with it. Doesn't even aim. Just brings the dart back towards his jawline and throws it. There have been a few signs of nerves in the last couple of legs. Legs, admittedly, that he's won. But he's dropped the dart and stood back and had to reset. And there's signs of anxiety. And we have to say that that's just something that happens in darts. You are going to feel a little bit edgy.
Edgy for both of them there. It is still advantage Bunting, but that advantage is narrow. The lead is a lot narrower than 4-0 as it was earlier.
What was I saying earlier about a nice, easy last 32 match? It's far from that now. 2-7-3. Razma's got to be careful here. Now what does he do? Well, 79 leaves 194. He can't hit a 25 to leave a finish. Needs a treble.
99.
See, if he'd have gone 18 on the first dart, he would have gone 103 to leave 170. So a little bit of a board management error there. And Bunting now knows that 6 darts and 188 will get the job done.
But that's been looking pretty tricky in this leg so far. Been a lot of this.
60.
No treble again for Bunting. 60, 59, 60, the last 9 darts.
I'm surprised he didn't go 18s on the last dart. And now he may have to take this tricky looking 128. You'd much rather have 130 than 128, trust me. Because if you get a treble 18, you still need a treble to get a double. Whereas with 130, you only need the 1 treble.
Game defining moment. Needs another in there. Cannot find it. And exactly what Paul Nicholson was saying. 130. He's going to get a match dart there. Razma to become favourite in this tie. Double 16. Oh, he's hit the double 7. It's still on. Oh, my word. Next door for both doubles. He busts his score.
Would you believe it? It's not often you see 62 bust. And he was way over the amount that he needed, but double 10 for Bunting. Double 5. Too high. And the drop is not finished yet. He gets another chance at 62. No hesitation.
Doesn't get the treble this time. Only gets one dart at the double. Oh, Madars, compose yourself, man.
30.
Takes a very confident dart player to be able to reset on that shot. It's almost like a golfer at the top of the backswing stopping when someone clicks a camera, but double 4 it is after a 2 for Bunting, and double 4 comes to his rescue and he gets the job done finally. How did he get there? What a weird game that was, Dan.
Very, very weird. Madars Razma very nearly taking it to a last leg decider. Even Russ Bray offers his commiserations to the Latvian number 1.